favor today. Can anyone hear me now? I definitely have it set. I'm not really sure what's happening now. I may have to postpone or do my live via... Oh, so you can hear me now? I'm definitely not muted on my screen. Okay, awesome. Phew, I was about to like revert and go like old school live on Facebook or something just then. Oh dear. So I guess I can start from scratch again, and you know, eventually you guys will be able to catch up with what I was saying. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm so sorry about my technology problems. I've had probably the worst day I could imagine. I've just been feeling a bit down, and of course technology doesn't agree with you all the time, but thankfully it is working. I've been battling slanted cameras and everything the last 2 hours, so I'm glad you guys can hear me. Thank you so much for playing along and staying with me, I guess you could say. I just wanted to, before we get started on our live, just thank everybody for joining. And also, before I forget, we're hopefully going to have everything back to full swing on Cricut for Australians. So if you don't already follow Cricut for Australians, please make sure you do follow us on Facebook and Instagram, as well as following myself and Paul on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Just, you know, so that you can keep up to date with anything that's happening. Likewise, if you want to tag us in any of your projects that you make, especially the ones where we have inspired you, then by all means, feel free to. We love to see what you guys make. So great, everyone can hear me. I'm happy about that. So to start us off, my first project tonight, well, I'm so sorry that I wasn't available last week for it. It was probably a terrible day last week to try and go live with all of the system issues anyway, but I was feeling unwell. I'm going to make a layered mandala shadow box. Now, I know most of you have probably seen those shadow mandala there's layered mandala shadow boxes and things like that on the Facebook groups, you know, with the alphabet letters and things like that. But I decided to use some imagery from Cricut Design Space to create a really nice layered cross, which will be a gift for my little niece's half-sister who just got baptized recently. Now, it is a delayed gift, but it is something that she will be able to use and hang on her wall. Woohoo, you made it. Thank you, Kylie. So I have a whole bunch of supplies here. I'm going to be working with my pre-cut cardstock because I didn't want to play around with waiting for the machine to cut everything, but you just cut all of these according to their settings. So I'm working with some glittered, there's a little fine piece of glittered white cardstock that I'm working with. There is also a piece of foiled poster board that I'm working with. So this foil is going to be needed to cut on a different setting. And then the rest of them is just being cut on standard medium cardstock, which is basically what I use to cut anything that is your standard 219 GSM from like Kmart or American Crafts or Kaiser Craft or any of those standard cardstocks that you can pick up at the shop really cheaply. Now, I picked a random color scheme. I wasn't really sure how it was going to play out, but it's definitely working in my favor. I've also used some white permanent vinyl to do a little design on the front of the glass. I don't have to use permanent. I just didn't have any removable in white. The great thing about when you're doing something like decor is you don't actually have to have permanent. You can use removable because it's not like that's going to get washed in the dishwasher or in the sink or soaked for anything. I will be using a plain piece of grey cardstock as my background because I like to have some pink, like when I work with pink and white, I really like to work with grey as well. Just a little bit of contrast. I will be using some of the Montmartre tacky glue, which if anyone saw me do my unboxing of my order this afternoon, I grabbed that from Sparkles by Carby Designs. I do love the Montmartre brand of tacky glue as well because it's in a pen and it's super duper easy to work with. I'll also be working with, and it's your personal preference, but I just got some of these paper craft adhesive dots. So they're just from Spotlight, really simple. They're just little foam dots. They're not too big, which is the thing I like about them. Paul would be smart and would know the sizes. Oh, they're 6 millimeters. There we go. Paul would normally have all that information in front of him. I am not that educated. Because I've got the vinyl, I have my standard grip transfer tape. I've got my weeding tool. I've got a pair of scissors to trim anything down, and my extra large scraper, which will enable me to burnish everything up. And to finish off the decorating of things, I'm actually just going to use a few leaves and some pre-rolled paper flowers or paper roses, just to decorate the corners and just give a little bit of context to the shadow frame once we've got this all inside. So of course, to go hand in hand with that, I also have my Shaw Bonder glue gun, which I will plug in 2 seconds, just so I can make sure that it gets nice and hot and ready to go. So with that being said, I'll pop this down for 2 seconds. I will, yeah, it is a great color combo. So I'm just going to change over to the camera view, so just the overhead camera. So just bear with me while I get this underway. And the shadow box that we're working with today is definitely one of my all-time favorites, and it's just the Kmart shadow boxes. So if I just pop this out of the way, you can just see it's the Anko branded shadow box, and they're just a really good price at Kmart. They're just a $10 shadow box. You can get them with the white or the black. They're definitely not what I would call, you know, professional level, like in terms of there is sometimes some markings on it, but they are a great price point if you're looking to do cheap gifts with your Cricut. So let me just open up this bad boy, and we'll get there eventually. I'm just going to clear it all off. So I'm going to work with that one. I will put it to the side. I'm just going to chuck everything on the floor because that's my bin for the night. But we will get through to it in just a moment. Alrighty, so first and foremost, what I want to work with is our pieces here. Now, I've already ordered them in layers. And it is really important to understand that they need to stay in their layers in order for bits to show through. So here, what I have is I need to make sure, whoops, let's get this out of the way. I need to make sure that the silver pieces actually show the pink through it, and the pink show the white through it, and vice versa. So we're going to start with what we have here now, and I'm just going to firstly pop this here, and we're going to work with these 2 pieces. Now you notice that the pieces here are quite thin and very flimsy, so you can see out of my white glitter cardstock it is very, very thin line work here, which actually means that I won't be able to put sticky dots under them to lift it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it down onto the light pink so that there is not going to be any, I guess, height by the foam dots underneath it. So I'm going to just turn it over, and I'm going to open up my glue. So feel free to ask away any questions, guys. So I'm just opening up my glue. Once again, packaging on the floor. The great thing about these tacky glues is that they are just so easy to use. I'm just giving it a shake because it's been in the post for a little bit. And I like to make sure it's coming out. See, yeah, it comes out in a nice little spread. So I'm just going to wipe that somewhere because, you know, I'm all about saving myself the cleanup. And what I'm just going to do is it's a Paul thing to do, but it's just going to be dotting with the glue. So I need to make sure that it's well covered so they all stay on, but I don't need to have too much glue, because what will happen if I put too much glue on it is that it will go over the sides and show. And because this is the top layer, you really can't afford for the glue to leak everywhere. So like I said, just a few dots. Tacky glue is great because it stays, it's tacky, but it stays wet enough for you to actually be able to reposition it where you need to. So I'm not going to do the super fine bits of the little floral piece in the middle, Just going to do the outside and then these leaves. So just bear with me. And please, what about adding a few of the top layer? What do you mean a few of the top layer, Erica? What are you referencing? Sorry, because there's a bit of a lag, so I don't know which part you're referencing. I will come back and check to see what you're referencing in 2 seconds. Unfortunately, the joys of Facebook and YouTube is that generally there is a slight lag. Alrighty, so I'm going to just come over and I'm going to actually line these up right across the edges. So the edges are the parts that matter the most. You want to make sure that they do line up evenly. And the great thing, as I said, about the tacky glue is you do have time to reposition and you can wipe away excess glue, which also helps too. So let me just get that all in there. Alrighty, so we're pretty stuck down. I don't need to be too pedantic. You still want it to look quite nice, but you've just got it just neatly on. You can see, you can't really see it from the back, but there is some little bits of glue that you can just clean up on the edges here. It's not going to be a massive issue there. So the next thing I'm going to work on, now that I'm just waiting for that to dry, is I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up, because the best thing about this is I will be able to see where I need to put my sticky dots. So I'm just going to pop the lid back on my glue and just get my foam dots. Now, the great thing about these foam dots, I was annoyed with them at first, but I'm still not understanding what you're saying, Ricky. Like, I understand what you're saying you can add to it, but what are we adding to it? I'm not sure what you're talking about. But what you can do is there's still foam here and it's all adhesive. So the great thing is after you've used the actual circles, you can cut up the extra bits that are left over and still use that as an adhesive foam as well. So it's just something to keep in mind when you do get these. It may look like it's a lot of waste, but you can still use it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place some sticky dots, and I want to make sure that when you're doing sticky dots like this, that you are kind of creating a bit of a tower or pylon. So you want to try and keep your dots consistent across the board. So I'm always going to have a dot in that middle bit because that's always going to have a piece. And I want to make sure that I have great coverage here. You can definitely add to these, Erica, but I just can't confirm what you're referencing. So I don't want to say 100% that I know what you're talking about. Like I said, there's a bit of a lag here, so I may not realize what you're referencing. So I'm just popping some sticky dots down. Of course, the great thing about these, they love to stick to my fingernails. I'm also going to pop a little bit in here. And in here. So remember, what we're doing is we're actually trying to make sure that it is actually quite structured. The last thing you want is it to be sagging in parts. So we'll just keep putting some of these on, and you need to remember where you put them. And this is the same if you did a lighted shadow box or anything like that. You really need to just make sure you've got some dimension. So because the top layer is so fine, you can't put the foam dots, adding more layers of the top one to give it some height. It still will make it too fine to be able to add the foam dots. You can give it a go if you're willing to sit there and try and trim down your foam dots, but for me, I definitely can't get that trimming happening. I can't get it to sit as thin as, you know, one might want. that was a casualty of everything just attaching to my, if you can get it to thin out, by all means add some extra, but I think in the frame it's not going to really matter. All right, so I've got all my foam dots on that I would like, and I'm just going to take the tops off. I always end up with extra here. I'm going to make a mess like usual. Maybe I should be Nat's Messy Life, maybe, instead of Nat's Crafty Life, because I definitely don't do clean crafting. And it's definitely not as organized as people would like to think I am. I feel organized tonight, but then something always goes wrong. So keep with me. Awesome. Glad you understood what I was trying to say, Erica. Okay, so we're not too far. We're just adding our little foam dots. Should have got some tweezers to help me so I'm not just attacking my nails. Alrighty. So now we've got our foam dots. You want to be very careful with placement. So what I do is I actually hold the pieces together and I work within the corners so I have them super like flush against each other. You want it to look like it was flawless. So it does have a thin sort of layer and you can get thicker dots, but for me, I'm just doing one layer at that height. So now that it sits up high, and obviously the more layers you get, and that's enabling life. Yeah, I could be an enabling life. The next thing you want to do is you want to do the same thing, but you want to do it with this next piece. Now, so I'm going to go one in the top of each and one in the corner of each. It will keep my pylons pretty consistent. So remember how I said it was like building a building, how you have to make sure you've got some consistency in the corners to make sure that there's not going to be any sagging parts of the building. Well, it's the same situation with these foam dots. You want to make sure that your pieces don't sag over time. So we're just popping this all in. I mean, I agree, Yvonne. Some people would say I'm a bit of an enabler. I would just say that I share my bargains with you all and inspire you. I don't know if I would 100% class myself as an enabler, because I'm only an enabler if someone is open to suggestive videos like I went shopping today kind of stuff. So I'm just popping the dots in places where there is actually space. So keeping in mind I'm not going to go overboard because I need to have enough dots to finish off my last layer. But I also don't want the dots to be seen on the outside. So you want to make sure that they are in definitely larger places. Who crafts neat anyway? I've seen some super neat people. Like there are some people out there that do craft super neat and they do tidy up in between and everything like that. I am not one of them people. If you had any illusions into thinking I was that, I have several crafts on the go and I 100% am not a neat crafter. That's why it is always a mission whenever I have a room rearrangement. I am building a guitar collection because of me. Oh, a glitter. I thought it said a guitar. A glitter collection. Alrighty. Well, I actually have something really exciting that's going to happen soon. I just placed myself a nice little order from Sparkles by Carby Designs. But I didn't know what to order and I just wanted to make my postage worthwhile, so that's why I ordered it. So I think I'm going to be doing a bit of a giveaway of some glitter soon when the stuff comes in. So you'll have to stay tuned to my Facebook page and my Instagram page to find out how, if you are interested, you can win some glitter. So I'll put them into, when the packages come, I'll put them into some nice little, I guess, collections, I'll call them, so that I can definitely have a few prizes. But if anyone is interested, stay tuned because I will be, it's all just a front. Yes. So now once again, the same thing, I try and hold it in the middle and just keep it lined up. So if you can line up a corner, even if you had something flat, you can line up your corners here. Oh, thank you. They have little, it's hard to see, they got little like pink lemon slices in them. My sister, once again, smashed it out of the ballpark. So I only want to press down where I know that the pieces are, but at the moment we're just slowly layering. As you can see here, we're 2 layers in, 3 altogether, but 2 layers in. And these can have up to like as many layers as you want. I'm just showing you one that I thought was effective with it's only going to have a little bit of height, but it has 5 layers. You can add layers, you can make any adjustments you like, you can use anything you like. I just thought this was really cute. I'm just cleaning up my mess obviously as I go. So now I need to put some sticky dots on this bad boy. Oh, it looks like some people are keen for the glitter giveaway. So, and don't forget to anybody that we still have our competition going for our 50,000 members. There is lots and lots of prizes up for grabs. One of them is the main prize, which is a Cricut maker bundle from Cricut. The next ones are, there are 4 $50 vouchers from Laser Blanks. There is 3 $50 vouchers from Little Wombat & Co. So I'm trying to think of this off the top of my head, which do some amazing, for those who don't know Little Wombat & Co., they do some amazing faux leathers. We have 2 $50 vouchers from Craft House, 2 $50 vouchers from Exo Craft Blanks, a $50 voucher from Sparkles by Carby Designs, and in with that you will also get some paired up shakers to put your glitter in depending on what you order. So we're going to work with Gelby Crafting Co. to get that one happening for you, and a $30 voucher from Glitter Your World, who also are my one of my favorite suppliers of glitter as well. So Pezza says she would love some glitter. She doesn't know where to put it all, and her kids would have her committed. Look, I mean, just put it in their bed and in their coffee and their food, and the saucepan needs some glitter as well, and you know, you'll find somewhere. Like, think about all the Christmas baubles you could do in the coming season with all that glitter. Or if you're getting into tumblers, you're always going to need glitter if you're into tumblers. I'm also going to probably I might do a makeup holder, so like a makeup brush holder, using some glitter. So stay tuned, I might do that one for you guys in a live coming soon. What else could it be? I'll find some stuff you can do with glitter. I'll find lots. I need to find an excuse to use more glitter. At the moment, I'm not going to do any of the Tumblr tutorials because I just need to get myself confident with what I'm doing. I'm still very new to the Tumblr world, and I still ask a lot of questions. We nearly got ourselves there. Just want a little bit more. They are such amazing. Okay, the mod comp. I'm glad you raised it, Erica. We've just got to push the mod comp out a little bit because of everything that's happened with Design Space and things like that, and over the past couple of weeks, and the fact that Paul's been on holidays lapping it up. We've decided we're just going to give it a little bit more time. So if there's anyone else out there that's interested in being a mod, please feel free, like a moderator for Cricut for Australians, please jump on and enter the competition. You do need to post a video. So if you don't have a video telling us a little bit about yourself, unfortunately you will be disqualified from the count, because we really would love to see the person that we're working with, if that makes sense. But we really would love, it's not a glorious and glamorous job. We're not asking you to jump on and do lives every week or anything like that, but we do want your help just to help keep the group safe and happy and crafting for everybody, so that we're not getting bogged down into all the negative all the time. So now that I've just pulled off all the tops of my sticky dots, I'm just going to come over here. Do I need to show you the glitter? So you want something that doesn't need to have a turner. Okay, well, I will help you with that. So I'm just, once again, just lining it up with the sides, making sure it all sort of fits. So you can already see that it's getting some dimension just adding that there, just pushing down only where I know that those pylons are, or the little foam dots are. So you can see here it's already taking its place. It's quite thin still, so you can keep going with different layers if you want some more of a shadow effect, but you can see here how it really does create that perfect illusion, and all the lines are flush with each other, so that's what we wanted to accomplish with this. So I always find a point and make sure that it sits, you know, with your hands in between. So now that we've done that part, and it's probably not the funnest of sections to do, I'm just going to open up, actually I won't open up the shadow box yet. I'm going to start with weeding the vinyl portion of this so we can get that. Thanks, Susie. I like the colours of it too. So I'm just going to weed the vinyl here. I've already pre-cut everything, like I said, because I pre-cut it thinking I was going to go live the night of the system outage with Design Space where maintenance was down, but there was just so much happening and I was not feeling the greatest, so I postponed it. So it's probably going to be hard because I'm actually working with the white, so the white vinyl with the white backing makes it hard for you to see properly, but if you can just bear with me while I weed it. I didn't want you guys to just have everything ready, you know. Now it's going to have what date she was baptized and where she was baptized and her first and middle name. The reason why I didn't put a last name on here is obviously for a few reasons. There's a safety, make sure there's a safety reason, because, you know, she is a young child. It's not hard to figure out, you know, locations and things like that. So I didn't want to give all the information, you know, for her parents' sake. I didn't want it all out in the public. But also because, you know, this is something that she can potentially have for the rest of her life. So as she grows and she gets married one day, she'll change her last name. And, you know, from there she can still have it as a reminder of what happened when she was younger. So I don't know if you guys can hear that, but the rain is pouring down here at the moment. Alrighty, so I've got that bad boy weeded. I'm actually going to, I was going to put this on before I put it all in the frame, but I think I might do this part last so I can see where everything sits in the frame before I cover the front. So I'm going to pop it to the side and I'm going to open up the shadow box frame. So let's just move that out of the way. We've still got our little bit here. I do wish that they would put it on a different color backing than the white. It does make it harder to see. I'm just going to use my extra large scraper. I usually have a different tool that I use to open up the backings of frames because I don't like to scratch my scraper, but I left it elsewhere, and I don't like using my nails because they tend to get scratched up as well. So I'm just going to lift the backing out, which is what we've got. And when I work with my shadow boxes, first and foremost, what I do is I try and pop my backing paper down inside here first, and then I pop my frame back in. Now this is just so I have a guide in terms of where I'm going to put everything. Now the weeding tool I got from amazon.com.au, it is one of the new weeding tools that has the True Control knife. It's from amazon.com.au, and it is super duper easily available on the Aussie one. I didn't bring over my preferred glue to take this down, so I'm just going to work out my placement. Now I think I'm pretty happy with where it is, just sitting smack bang in the middle. Alrighty, so everyone's just agreeing on the backing paper, so I'm just going to put some glue just on the back here. I don't want it too wet, but at the same time it needs to be able to hold. So it's just some tacky glue, the Montmartre tacky glue. It's just like colouring it in really. So give this a little bit of love and wipe it off. My biggest thing is making sure you wipe it off onto it. And I'm just going to, I'm not even going to measure. I'm a bit of a looky kind of person. and I'm just going to push it down where I can see the white. So, and anywhere that there's pylons, you just want to give it a nice bit of push, but you don't want to squish anything because we all know that those layers need to stay nice and upright. So it's looking pretty nice. Alrighty. So I'm not sure, Pezza, what you're talking about. You've just brought one to do your jigsaw puzzle. Is this one of these pens? I'm not sure what you're referencing. So, or is it this? Alrighty. So next, I've got my little combinations of things, and I wasn't sure how I wanted them to sit in the frame, but I was going to have just sort of a little bit of texture in here, just so that, you know, it didn't look so empty in the corners and stuff. So I'm just sort of feeling out where the placement would go. So we've got a couple of leaves in here. I thought I had more leaves, but apparently I probably dropped them on the floor somewhere like normal. So I'm thinking I might just pick two corners, maybe not have this corner here, just maybe have one corner with the 3 in it and a few leaves, and then the other corner just have the 2. So I'm not a fan of it down in the corner. It means that I have a bit more room here for her name. So if I'm happy with the placement, awesome, Pezza. Sorry, I really struggle with words and it's really hot right now. So what I'm going to do first and foremost is I'm going to just pick up the leaves, thankfully, and I'm just going to sort of shape them around my fingers just so they sit up a little bit, and pop a dab of glue just in the middle. I don't want to go too far down, and I'm just going to use my weeding tool just to hold it there. You want a little bit of texture, and this stuff dries really quickly, so I'm going to pop a big one right there, push it down, a little bit here, pop that down there. So that's a little bit of texture to start with. Now, once again, I'm just going to do the same thing with the other side with the leaves. Just give it a little bit of texture so it sits up. Just a stroke of glue. Nothing super urgent. You just want it to not look flat against the color. I used a really, really light color green because I didn't want to like overshadow the colorings behind it. I wanted the cross to 100% be the thing that stand out here. After all, it is a baptism gift, so I definitely have to make sure that it shows as a gift for baptism. So some of these flowers I just cut out of the scraps around the design. Others I had laying, laying about. I've probably changed the placement just slightly, but that's okay. I want them nestled right in there. There's still some texture of the leaves, so that's great. And I actually don't need my hot glue gun on anymore, so I'm just going to unplug that just so it doesn't continue to heat up, and pop it to the side. So now that I've got my placement looking exactly where I want it, what I need to do is open it out. I actually use my True Control knife, or my weeding tool, just to get that out. It's all stuck where it needs to go. And I will come back later on once I'm able to. I don't have any cloths here. Actually, I might have just some, let me just check if I have anything to give that a wipe down. I probably don't. No. I was going to say I might have something here. So I'm just going to quickly wipe it with one of the socks from my gnome live. I know that that's not ideal and you would probably use isopropyl, but just so it gets that stuff off the inside, I'm just going to give it a nice wipe down because my isopropyl is in a different room. So give that a wipe. It is a really nice grey-green. So I'm going to pop this bad boy in, and then next job is I simply drop the frame in. Now, what will happen here is that the flowers may stick up a little bit, which they are, I'm just going to, I also always pop this Anko frame back in. I don't know why, it's just habit, but if you want, you can keep that as well. So to just check that it's up the right way, this up the top here is going to be the top, and this down here is the bottom. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to pop these backings down. I'm not great with this stuff, and I usually, maybe the pair of scissors is a bit stronger. I never like to, you know, play too much with my nails. I'm not one of those, oh, I broke a nail girl, but I don't like to have the pain of, you know, snapping a nail off at the nail bed or anything like that, because that is not fun. So I don't care if they look ugly, mainly because I probably have a sister who will just go, let me fix them and do something else. But I definitely care if it hurts, because I'm a big sook. Just stabbing it down, because you know me, all about safety. So now that I've got that happening there, you can see it's all there. I'm just going to find my sock again and just give it a nice wipe over. We'll pretend I isopropyled this, but you know, it's got a little bit of a clear film, like a film over the top of it. So it's going to be, I'm not sure if you can even see in the camera because it's a little bit shiny for me. But you know, there's definitely room for cleaning up here where the dust has gotten anyway. So I'll give it a nice clean once it's all done. So what I've actually got here, and I'm just going to move the shadow box to the side. So I'm going to open up my transfer tape. Now this is just some transfer tape that I have. I don't need it super big. So I'm just going to trim it down here. I keep all of my transfer tape in a drawer anyway, so I'll be able to come back to it. And of course, I just need to, oops, pop it all in. Yeah, those tabs are 100% not my friend, Erica. So we're just going to pop my transfer tape back on its roll. So I just keep it nicely done with a little bit of tube around it. I used to actually store everything with rubber bands around it, but the problem I found with rubber bands was that if it got hot, the rubber bands would sort of melt to the top of the transfer tape or the vinyl or the iron-on. So I'm going to start off by putting the date and where she was baptized on the bottom half of the frame. So I always turn it over and remove the backing away from the front and not vice versa. It's just one helpful tips and tricks. So I think I'm going to place it quite center, to be honest. I feel like center, even though it's a little lopsided, I think center is my friend. And also, I'm not a measuring girl. You can sit here and measure the correct distance. I 100% don't measure. Everything I do is wing it. So that is applied now. And now the next one here, and this is one of my new favorite fonts from Cricut Design Space. So this one here that I'm about to do, which has her name on it, is my new favorite font. It's called Annie Lou from Design Space, and it really is my all-time favorite. It's my go-to for anything, especially for little girls. It really is my go-to. And I might just sit, I'm thinking her name up the top. It's really hard to see, so I'm just going to get up on a slight angle, and I think I might put her name up the top instead of, I was going to go across the middle, but I think that's distracting. So I'm going to pop her name on the top, and this is as close to straight you're going to get from me. Alrighty, so got my backing from my transfer. I'm just going to place that back on. I'll fix it up later before I pop it away. And I'm just going to give it a little burnish where there is just a bubble too. You can do what's called the wet method, but I don't have time to play with water and wait for it to dry. But this is pretty good, and the little girl will not even know it. So this is the end result of this shadow box. I might, if I feel like it needs it, I might come in and add a few more roses or flowers around, but I don't want to overdo it too much. So I'm going to just come up here and just switch screens, oops, so that I can show you it all at once. So not sure if you guys can really see this that well, but we have a really nice shadow box frame for Harper Rose, the date that she was baptized, and where she was baptized. So it's really nice, it's really basic, but it also isn't over the top. So I'm just going to sit that there. You'll see a bit of the reflection, so I do apologize. And that is the end result. So I guess what I need to do is, I've already spoken to you guys about the competition for Cricut for Australians. Remember, we're probably about 1,000 members away from reaching that 50,000 marks. We really, really want to get all the new members on, and any new member is also entitled to apply for the competition. So if there's any new members out there and they want to enter the competition, by all means they can. All they need to do is, you know, follow Paul and I, follow Cricut Australia, New Zealand on Facebook and Instagram, follow Cricut for Australians, and also enter by screenshotting their likes and shares. So next I wanted to talk to you guys about is Paul. So I know it's been a while since you've had the pleasure of watching Paul on the good old YouTube. He's been a lucky man and been away on holidays with his family and his lovely sister. So he is very, very lucky. But we get to have him back, and the pleasure will be on Sunday. I can't remember what time he always goes live. I think it's like 11 o'clock. But that is New South Wales or Australian Daylight Savings Time. So Paul will be back on the weekend on Sunday, and he's going to be doing an Easter project using vinyl. So he's going to do some Easter pails. And then next week, Paul will also be back live for his Cricut for Australians tutorial. And he's actually going to be playing with some wood burning, and it's going to be a chemical wood burn. So I'm really excited to see what he does with that one. I'm super duper excited. I'm sure he's going to be doing some stenciling of some form, but stay tuned next week. He's got all the supplies ready to go. He's been playing this one for a while, so I definitely want to see him next week burning up a storm, I guess is the word. And yes, his dancing. We all miss his dancing. So just remember, Sunday at 11 o'clock New South Wales and Melbourne time, Paul will be live on YouTube. He will probably share a post over the next couple of days, and then next week, next Thursday, same time, 7 o'clock Australian Daylight Savings Time, he will be live just like I was tonight. Remember, if you want to be a moderator, please make sure you do apply on the post. It's in the announcement screens of Cricut for Australians. And also, if you would like to win one of the amazing prizes that we have up for grabs, please, please, please feel free to share Cricut for Australians. I don't think it'll be long before the entries will be drawn, so we definitely need to get you on board quickly for your entry to count. And also make sure you go through, there's a list of all the wonderful companies who have donated prizes to us or sponsored us. And we would love for you to go and show them some love, like their pages, and give them a follow. Alrighty guys, well, I'm going to love you guys and leave yous. I'm going to get this bad boy cleaned up properly and some nice photos ready for my socials, and I will share the file with you guys at the same time. Alright guys, have a wonderful night, and I will see you next time. Bye!